Hello and welcome back to another Clash of Clans video with Healer's Rage. My name is John and today I'd like to cover a subject that I like to harp on quite a bit. These are the top 5 mistakes that newer players make. Number 5, not having properly upgraded troops. We showed this replay in the last Clan War recap. It was more for fun. We were more just kind of showing just a fun fail, but it is really important that you have as high level troops as possible for the troops that you're attacking with. That'll make them go as far as possible. It'll keep them from dying to one giant big bomb. It's really important. A lot of players will unlock a new troop and go, oh, I have a brand new troop, so that means it's all of a sudden overpowered, I could just use it, right? And I see people do it a lot, and it's bad. It's definitely a way to lose clan wars. Now, once you get those troops a little bit upgraded, yes, absolutely experiment, absolutely practice, but you have to make sure they have at least a certain amount of upgrade, to make them worthwhile. And on to number 4. Number 4, having a proper state of mind when attacking. This one's a little bit more subtle. I went to go attack this base. I was already kind of having a bad day, and it's very easy to just make mistakes or not see things. Like these wizard towers being just far enough to really upset my balloons. It can cause you to misplace troops or just really have a moment of stupid, right? It is very important that when you are attacking, that every attack is a brand new attack. Don't think about the time that you accidentally dropped your heal in the middle of nowhere and you ruined the raid, or these kind of things don't matter. Every time you go into a new raid, every time you do a new attack, look at it with a fresh mind and go, alright, how am I going to crush this fool? That by itself will help you drastically. Not do stuff like this where I drop more hounds on the left side where the Archer Queen's on the right. Things just go bad. So on to number 3. Number 3, having a kitchen sink. When I say kitchen sink, I mean everything. It's also called Noah's Ark. Basically, you just bring a little bit of everything, right? So, if it exists, it must be good, right? So, I'm gonna have a couple Valkyries, a couple witches, maybe sprinkle some hogs there. Hogs are really good at Town Hall, 8. If you're a Town Hall 7 player, like, well, maybe I'll just bring, barbs and archers and everything, right? Just bring a little bit of everything. That's bad. A lot of attacks require that you find troops that synergize with each other. So stuff like dragons. Well, what do I take in the clan castle? Well, I can take another dragon because dragons are good, right? So must have more of them. You can take balloons. Balloons help clear the air defenses and go and help destroy the defenses so the dragons can't, don't die as quickly. It's very important that your attack is very, very, very synergistic. You want it to work with each other. You want them to kind of help each other out and, do their thing. So make sure when you're building your list when you're building your army list that you decide, all right, this is what I'm going to build. This is why they work, and kind of really sit down and justify why you have certain troops in there. So on to number 2. Number 2, not practicing your attack. It is really, really important that when you have an attack, you practice it. You do it all the time. I fell in love with Lavalunion and decided I'm going to do nothing but balloons and minions, lava hounds, balloons and minions, or a variation of. I'm going to practice, right? Maybe I'll do a shatter, a cold-blooded, I'll figure out stuff, but even in my normal raids, I stopped bartering. There's no more of that. I only did that. I practiced and practiced and practiced until I knew the limits of my balloons. Also, on top of just knowing what kind of bases you can hit, you feel more comfortable with the flow of what you're supposed to do, right? I'm gonna harp on Nosferatu a little bit. We went and discussed this strategy and his plan, and he's practiced a little bit, and he's gotten a lot better at it. But if you're not a super practiced, you sometimes mess up. You sometimes do those really silly things that you just don't think about. You know, he's trying to lure out the clan castle. It has a dragon and 2 balloons, and he's trying to get the balloons. For a lava loonian, it's not really important that you get the balloon. The lava pups take care of that. I'm just gonna ignore the poison. But then he does the greatest thing, right? He goes and drops his Archer Queen, because I told him, you know, drop the Archer Queen, pop her ability the second the dragon hits, and you know all that. The more you practice with stuff like that, the more that you can kind of build around it, right? And especially when stuff happens, when things just go wrong, right? Things are right now in critical mode for him, and he knows that he kind of just has to go for it, right? He actually does something. I'm gonna speed it up because he does something really, really awesome. Stuff that when you practice, you know, you get better at. So he actually sees almost everything's dead. Like, he has some lava pups. He has, you know, a Barb King, and he needs to get to 50%. So he knows that those balloons can't catch him. He knows that the dragon is not allowed to catch him. So he rages his Barb King and runs and runs and runs. And fortunately, because of that practice that he did have, he does save the raid. But it's really important that you practice your attacks. You would be surprised the kind of stuff that you come up with and ways that you figure out solutions to little problems like this. So again, I really can't stress this enough. Practice your attacks. And on to number 1. Number 1. Not luring the clan castle. This is a huge, huge pet peeve of mine. There are certain attacks that you don't need to lure, right? So if you have a go wipe, dragon spam, you don't need to lure it. You don't really care. But it is really important that you lure the clan castle, and not just lure the clan castle, but kill it. You have to kill the clan castle. Bruman is a kind of a newer player for us. He's learning. He's getting a lot better. This was unfortunately one of his bad days. So I apologize for if I sound like I'm picking on him. But you know, the clan castle's not dead. He goes, well, what do I do now, right? So I see this in a lot of situations where I couldn't kill the clan castle, or I didn't lure the clan castle. Just, you know, send all my things and just I'm just gonna hope for the best, right? I'll be okay. Well, in this case, a Valkyrie is not kind, right? So when you don't lure the clan castle, you end up losing. You have to lure the clan castle. There's lots of different ways to lure it. There's lots of different troops you can use. Even bases that are specifically designed to not be lured, you can kind of figure out ways around it. This is probably the biggest thing that I see from newer players, is just not luring it, right? So we all enter that moment where either we forget to lure the clan castle if we're raiding like a normal person, or, you know, we just have a bad day and we just send stuff, right? And then all of a sudden the clan castle pops up, and then we're having a bad day. We're set in panic mode. We're running like crazy. We're, you know, your heart's beating really hard, and you're like, crap, I don't know what to do. Just, I'm sorry, right? So, you know, that should be one of the big things that you really want to focus on. You want to focus on, you know, luring the clan castle, you know, doing what you can, and get it taken care of. I cannot, this is probably the biggest mistake I see from newer players. Lure the clan castle. Alright guys, that was a top 5 mistakes that newer players make. My name is John from Healer's Rage. We're in a clan war right now, wish us luck. And I will see you next time.